Good afternoon. I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. Commuters observe this reduced physical distancing implemented in public transportation starting today. To give us updates, we have Gerard de la Peña of News 5 joining us live from Mandaluyong. Gerard, how was the first day of implementation of the new protocol? I know you were there all day.
Well, Sean, amid criticisms and confusion last week, the Department of Transportation implemented today the relaxed social distancing rules inside trains and buses starting today. Well, transport officials adjusted the markings inside trains to reduce the distance between passengers to just 0.75 meters from 1 meter. Standing passengers were also allowed. The management of various train lines likewise, that's allowing the standing of passengers also in, it goes the same way for city buses. For MRT3 alone, the capacity went up to 17% from just 13%, enabling them to carry 204 passengers per coach from just 153 passengers. After 2 weeks, physical distance between passengers inside buses and trains will be reduced to half a meter and down to just 0.3 meters after another 2 weeks. The move aims to carry more passengers now that the economy is gradually reopening. Just this morning, train stations and bus stops were full as more workers begin to physically report to work after months of lockdown. The Department of Health still advises the public to maintain at least 1 meter distance when in public places. Transportation officials stressed that the new protocol did not face objections when it was tackled among IATF members. Sean, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said that the relaxed rules on social distancing inside PUVs will be tackled at the IATF meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, to take into consideration the concerns raised by healthcare professionals. Transportation officials said that they are willing to sit down with them to discuss the matter. Sean.
All right, thank you. I guess we'll hear from you the updates again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Gerard de la Peña joining us live from Mandaluyong City. And health experts are not sold on the idea of relaxing distancing rules in PUVs. Marian Enriquez tells us why in this report.
Health officials have time and again encouraged physical distancing as well as the mandatory use of face masks and shields in public transportation. But with the easing of distancing rules among commuters, some experts have expressed concern that it could heighten the risk of COVID-19 transmission. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Edsel Salvania, who is also a member of Health Department's Technical Advisory Group, branded the move as problematic. In a Facebook post, Salvania said there is no clear evidence to support the decision. He added that the net effect of physical distancing alone in decreasing COVID-19 transmission is at about 82%, while the net effect of merely wearing masks is 85%. He also noted that the net effect of eye protection or face shields is at 78%. Salvania said the government should have done pilot implementations with careful observations first before approving the protocol. The Healthcare Professionals Alliance Against COVID-19 echoed Salvania's sentiment.
Pag titingnan natin ang curve ng pandemic na ito, masyadong maaga pa, no? At malamang na dumami lalo ang kaso at bumagal ang recovery natin kung gawin natin ito ngayon.
Meanwhile, health reform advocate and former member of COVID-19 task force Dr. Anthony Liachon warned that the decision could do more harm than good to commuters. He said the guidelines should be backed by scientific evidence.
Mukhang hindi siya na-base sa siyensya or sa medisina. Kasi usually sa World Health Organization, kailangan mo ng isang metro para to reduce yung viral spread. At sa ibang countries nga, sa Europa, 1.5 meters. And then sa Amerika, sa Center for Disease Control, 2 metro pa nga ang nire-recommenda. Pero at least kunyari, minimum ang gusto mo, at least dapat hindi less than 1 meter ang magiging distansya mo. Hindi porke, let's say, nakapag-face shield ka at naka-face mask ka, bababaan mo yung physical distancing. Hindi. In fact, ang physical distancing is the cornerstone ng ating viral transmission.
But lowering the risk of virus transmission is not just about following minimum health standards. A recent study published by the Collaborative Group for Modeling COVID and Mobility in Colombia shows that proper ventilation and shorter trips play key roles in easing COVID transmission among commuters. Researchers looked into the mass transport policies adopted in Japan, China, Singapore, France, Austria, and Germany. Local health experts seconded this.
So an enclosed space creates more risk compared to an open air space. We also know that the transmission is through what we call micro droplets.
A recent study found out that in a confined setting, droplets containing viral particles remain afloat for 8 to 14 minutes, and smaller infectious viral particles, called aerosols, can drift around in the air even longer.
This is why transport expert Robert C. suggests that air-conditioned PUVs like trains and buses should open some of their windows or put up a ventilation system to allow air renewal. He also urged the IATF to consider allowing more traditional jeepneys to ply the roads.
Tumataas rin yung risk of virus transmission pag kulang yung public transport natin. It means that people end up crowding either within the vehicles or they end up crowding dun sa mga stops natin.
For its part, the health department is not yet fully sold to relaxing distancing rules in public transport. The agency urged commuters to still be cautious and practice at least 1 meter distancing.
We would like to call on the public to be extra vigilant in situations where distancing cannot be practiced, and if possible, choose to participate in activities or use transport options that will allow you at least 1 meter distancing.
Verheri said the new protocol is still up for discussions. She also assured the public that they will monitor its outcome. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
And over the weekend, the Metro Manila Council held a meeting over the proposed closure of cemeteries during the Undas season. For the details, Jenny Dongon joins us live from Quezon City. Jenny, was a consensus reached among the mayors of Metro Manila?
Sean, NCR mayors have unanimously agreed to close all cemeteries across the metro during the Undas season. MMDA General Manager Giorgio Garcia said all of them concurred in the implementation of a uniform plan during a meeting last Sunday. That is to close all cemeteries within their jurisdiction for 6 days from October 28 to November 4. The move aims to prohibit mass gathering and prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Garcia explained that the mere 1 week closure will favor small businesses such as flower shops, as there will still be enough time to sell their products. He noted, however, that they are still ironing out the guidelines, but authorities are considering to follow the plan of the city government of Marikina. Mayor Marcy Teodoro earlier said they will provide passes to allow 30% of the total capacity of the cemeteries in the city. Sean, as the guidelines are being finalized, authorities are encouraging the NCR residents to visit the tombs of their departed loved ones before or after the All Saints and All Souls Days. Sean.
All right, Jenny, you did mention Marikina City's plan under Mayor Teodoro that they are planning to allow visitation at 30% capacity of the cemeteries. What exactly are the dates that Marikina will be covering, at least with the implementation of this 30%, or is this how it goes for cemeteries in general?
Sean, according to Mayor Marcy Teodoro, the residents may process their cemetery passes as early as October 1. So the dates covered will start October 1 until the day before the scheduled implementation of the closure of the cemetery. That's October 28th. Sean.
All right. Thank you very much, Jenny Dongon. Waiting to hear for more updates from you, from the other mayors. Jenny Dongon of News 5 reporting to us live from Quezon City. We're going to pause for a quick break for now, but we will be back with more stories after the break. Stay with us. You're back on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Palace spokesman Harry Roque confirms that President Duterte has provided financial aid to the family of slain trans woman Jennifer Laude. The palace mouthpiece also said Pemberton will be facing court-martial proceedings once he arrives in the United States. Roque, who once served as a legal counsel for Laude, said this was promised by American officials as part of their early negotiations. He also responded to claims that it was Pemberton that President Duterte favored when he granted the convicted killer absolute pardon.
The President gave them financial aid 3 times, pero yung halaga, bahala na po ang wag na nating isa publiko. Ang binura lang po ng Presidente yung balanse ng kanyang pagkakakulong kung mayroon pa. Pero hindi po nabura yung katotohanan na convicted killer po si Pemberton. Kahit saan po siya makarating sa mundong ito, meron pa rin bansag sa kanya, convicted killer Pemberton.
And opposition lawmakers grilled palace officials on the office's utilization of its intelligence budget. Some of them say the multi-billion fund could have been used for the country's COVID-19 response. Ria Fernandez has more on the story.
Speaking before House lawmakers earlier today, Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea defended President Duterte on granting absolute pardon to American soldier Joseph Scott Pemberton. Pemberton was found guilty of killing Filipina trans woman Jennifer Laude while in the country in 2014.
I do not wish to second the wisdom behind the President's decision, and I assure you the exercise was within his authority.
However, Medialdea said the government continues to review the Visiting Forces Agreement with the United States. This after Gabriela Representative Arlene Brosas questioned the deferment on terminating the deal up to 1 year.
The Visiting Forces Agreement has vast effects sa Pilipinas and should be studied very carefully. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta mag-decide.
Meanwhile, Medialdea was also pressed on the country's engagement with Chinese firms that were blacklisted by international banks due to fraudulent activities in the West Philippine Sea. According to Bayan Muna Representative Ferdinand Gaite, these include China Airport Construction Corporation, which is involved in the multi-billion peso Sangli Airport project. In response, Medialdea admitted hearing about this in the news, but noted that they have not received official reports or evidence. This prompted Gaite to inquire about the Office of the President's huge allocation for confidential and intelligence funds. For 2021, the budget amounts to 4.5 billion pesos out of the requested 8.2 billion pesos budget of the office.
I think with the resources na available sa ating Office of the President, hindi maaaring mag-rely lang tayo sa news reports. Hindi pwede tayo mag-rely lang sa media reports. Meron tayong 4.5 billion.
Other progressive lawmakers suggested that the money should have been realigned to COVID-19 response and other agencies with meager appropriations. Among them was the Office of the Vice President, which recently earned the highest audit rating within the bureaucracy. Vice President Leni Robredo in the same venue said they initially asked 720 million pesos from the budget department, but only 679 million pesos was approved. Despite this, the House Appropriations Committee is keen on approving the spending plan of the Office of the President. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, we are One News.
And the Health Department says the IATF will revise its rules on the use of rapid antigen tests as a prerequisite for domestic air travel. This is after the World Health Organization discouraged the use of rapid antigen tests for travelers. Earlier this month, the task force greenlit antigen tests as an alternative for RT-PCR tests, a pre-boarding requirement for asymptomatic local tourists. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said health experts will first review the current IATF rules to ensure that it is aligned with the recommendation of global health experts.
Babaguhin ngayon ng Health Technology Assessment Council natin yung kanilang recommendations for rapid antigen. But hopefully, if we can present by tomorrow or Thursday, by early next week, we can already issue these omnibus guidelines.
Meanwhile, the country records the highest single-day jump in new COVID-19 deaths. This is after the health department logged 259 COVID-related deaths in the last 24 hours. The country's coronavirus death toll now stands at 4,630. Total COVID-19 cases in the country, meanwhile, surpassed 265,000, with almost 4,700 new cases recorded today. Around 53,700 cases are active. 249 new recoveries were also reported today, bringing total recoveries to over 207,000 and 500. And the Interior Department has begun hiring more contact tracers nationwide in a bid to boost the country's COVID response. The DILG said it is looking for 50,000 more contact tracers to reach its target of 150,000. There are currently more than 97,000 contact tracers nationwide. The department says it is bent on meeting what it calls the Magalong formula of tracing 37 close contacts of one COVID patient up to the third degree. Contact tracers will earn a minimum of 18,784 pesos per month. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.